Hey, what's up guys, it's Marsleaf here, once again doing another Kane's Wrath video cast, and today we have Unleashed UA. That's right, Unleashed, strange is it not, after 3 videos not featuring him. He's playing as the purple GDI versus his opponent, JonyCalcinha2, playing as the pink random. And I believe JonyCalcinha was in that match. I VOD'd that 2v2 match with Phoenix and those blokes from Game Ranger. Anyways, we have JonyCalcinha playing as the pink scrin. Seems like he's got a scrin faction. Let's hover over the portrait of the port to see what it is. Okay, it's a R-17 faction. While Unleashed, he's gone with GDI, just plain old vanilla GDI, classic GDI. So Reaper 17 versus GDI on Tournament Rift. Unleashed obviously being himself and extremely unorthodox, going for 3 engineers. This is just insane, it really is, and he's not making many squads to accompany his engineer take the spikes. He'll need to send a squad through the middle here just in case he's up against an odd faction. Of course, he is unaware of his opponent's faction. There's a 6 out of 9 chance that it will be a GDI or Nod faction. So he's willing to take that risk and go for the engineers, and it seems like that risk will pay off here, as JonyCalcinha did not attempt to capture those spikes or tried to intercept Unleashed engineers. I mean, Unleashed, he trained so many scouts to secure those spikes. So I'm not sure if this will be worth it for Unleashed. I think that JonyCalcinha, if he can claim those spikes in the next few minutes, will put him easily ahead of Unleashed. Again, Unleashed has to gain control of those spikes for a very long period of time just to recoup the credits of those Tiberium spikes to make up for that scouting investment. So yeah, Unleashed UA will be using these scouts to of course damage the Tiberium spike as well as scout the base. JonyCalcinha seems like he's going for an eco. Unleashed, he's going for an eco. He's slightly behind obviously since he captured the Tiberium spikes. JonyCalcinha not bothering to expand, not lifting up that drone ship, probably gonna go for a tier 3, or no, he's actually gonna be placing the nerve center down and going for a dev core perhaps. I don't see what else that could be. That is an early sign of a dev core rush if your opponent's going for a nerve center and immediately unpacks their MCV. So that's what I should expect to see from JonyCalcinha. Unleashed here with the 5 harvesters. He may have actually spotted this drone ship moving as well as the tier 2. He's sending a harvester towards the blue field, so he's looking to get that blue Tiberium field. There is a significant amount of Tiberium there. I reckon he could probably send 2 harvesters at most and clean that up, giving him a whopping total of 4,800 credits, if I'd done the math correctly. Anyways, he's going to be going for dual war factory predator spam. We'll have to see how this turns out against the Devourers. I think the Devourers slightly outperform the Predators, but the Predators are slightly faster than the Devourers, and I think you can overwhelm them, so to speak, if you have enough Predator tanks. But cost effectively, I think the Devourer tanks are better. And he's placing an additional war factory on the front lines. Not sure how well this push will do against Unleashed. I mean, Unleashed, he's consolidating a lot of tanks now. He's got at least 8 tanks, and he'll be pumping more of those tanks out. JonyCalcinha will not make a strong push with just 3 to 4 Devourer tanks. He's going to have to train more of them. Perhaps he can throw down a portal. I think he would need to, because the Predator tank numbers are growing larger and larger. He needs additional support, and this is going for a signal transmitter, in which case he can throw down a stasis shield. Not the greatest micro in the world, not reverse moving that Devourer tank to avoid it going down to these Predators, and 2 Devourers already going down, so the casualties for JonyCalcinha is not looking to be in his favor here. He's going to lose more Devourer tanks. A third Devourer tank goes down there, so Unleashed being able to claim a total of 3 Devourers, and Unleashed, I reckon he can definitely come to this base and take out the warp sphere at least. but JonyCalcinha throwing down that station shield a little bit too late. He had those Devourer tanks there, which died for really nothing. They didn't cause any damage at all. And now charging all those Devourer tanks, he could really take advantage of the range of these Devourer tanks. The Devourer tanks can kite the Predators. They have a marginally better range. And as you can see, JonyCalcinha will be able to take care of those Predator tanks there. So yeah, Unleashed now, he seems to have expanded with a crane. Very unusual indeed. Going for that crane. Where is the MCV? Does he have 2 build queues, or did he sell his MCV? No, he expanded towards the blue Tiberium field. Not exactly sure why he'd want to do that. He has been leeching that blue Tiberium field, thus preventing it from growing. So I would have thought he'd just go straight for the green tib. He has got the spikes. He's had the spikes since the beginning. JonyCalcinha, he's going to be pushing with Devourer tanks, but spoiler alert, these Predator tanks here will be there to engage the Devourer tanks, and Devourer tanks are not in the greatest formation. They will get picked off again. But Unleashed, you are going for the Warp Sphere, not a bad idea. This portal, though, will be quite a problem. He'll need to mix in APCs just to ensure that these Devourer tanks not Devourer tanks, Disintegrators cannot pick off these Predator tanks. It might be beneficial for Unleashed just to crush the Disintegrator squads here so they don't cause a massive amount of damage. But these Disintegrator squads will literally die in just one cannon shot. And easily being able to take care of the Disintegrators there. That will buy JonyCalcinha some time to train more Devourer tanks and Disintegrators. He's desperately clinging on though at the moment. And JonyCalcinha using the Lightning Spike and Infestation to damage Harvesters here. Unleashed throwing a bit of money. He could spend that instead of macro, build some production facilities and start training units. JonyCalcinha going to be transitioning into some aircraft here. GDI, in my opinion, can very much deal with the aircraft, especially now since JonyCalcinha has gave the fact away that he's gone for aircraft. Unleashed UA can start producing the hard counters to those Storm Riders, which are the Slingshots, APCs and Pipples. GDI are by no means weak to aircraft in this game. Many people say they are weak to aircraft, but in my opinion they've got the most counters to air in the game. They've got more than Nod, they've got more than Skrin, and they themselves, I think they have at least 4 to 5 counters, which is crazy. And obviously the Firehawks being one of the best counters, if not the best counters in the game, if you look at the upgrades that they receive, such as the hard points, which allows the Firehawks to carry tons and tons of missiles, and even take out the heaviest of aircraft, such as the planetary assault carriers. Even 2 Firehawks can one-shot it out of the sky with that upgrade, which is pretty immense if you ask me. But JonyCalcinha here, he's got 4 Harvesters there. He's going to have to transfer more. He's transferring his Harvesters over to the wrong Tiberium field. He needed to transfer them over here. And Unleashed, he is not losing any Harvesters whatsoever. He's got 3 refineries here. He needs to be training units. He's going for aircraft. Actually, he probably was intended he did intend to go on and build aircraft, but seeing those Storm Riders, he's changed his mind. JonyCalcinha could probably sell this airfield now, as he's got 4 Storm Riders, and that gravity stabilizer can support 4 Storm Riders at most. Again, not sure why JonyCalcinha is leeching from that green Tiberium field there, and not the greatest Harvester management in the game, or from what I've seen anyways. Unleashed could definitely start harvesting this Tiberium and sell some of these silos, which could unnecessarily block the pathing of the Harvester there and perhaps make it glitch out. You know what Kane's Wrath is like, it's just full of glitches, and whoops, Mr. Thumberfingers there. And yeah, Harvester going to get destroyed. What is happening here? APC Predators will take out this lone Shatterer tank. Not Shatterer, Devourer, sorry. The Spike's still under Unleashed possession here, and Unleashed going to be making an attempt to go to this green Tiberium field. JonyCalcinha, he's starting to spam tripods, so he's got his technology assembler up here. He's going to be spamming tripods, but a newsflash, there are already forces at his doorstep to harass and make sure that JonyCalcinha does not get his own way here. He's going to be having 2 charged tripods, which will easily be able to thwart this aggression here by Unleashed. Unleashed again needs to harvest this blue Tiberium field and keep up his production. All this Tiberium here has been harvested, and at the same time his MCV has expanded towards the expansion, JonyCalcinha's expansion. But JonyCalcinha, he may not be informed about this MCV, but his presence is definitely there as well. And the tripod spam production has begun. I would expect him to upgrade those tripods with the force field generators. Additionally, the conversion reserves has been fixed, so he could also upgrade that if he so desires and get additional shots. The tripods can store more of that Tiberium. All of them are charged up here, so those armored forces of Unleashed will most likely get devastated by the tripods, especially if he moves them in at once instead of saying 2 forward and 2 at the back. But nonetheless, the tripods will force these Predator tanks to retreat unless Unleashed is determined to break this here. He's going to lose all of his Predator tanks. Not the greatest formation either by Unleashed now. He's going to lose all of his forces here. Even the devoured Mammoth tank, which will get destroyed. And railguns just finished at the last moment. Unleashed chose a really bad time to engage just before his railguns were finished there. So I have to critique Unleashed just a little bit for deciding to engage before that upgrade has been completed. If he had waited until the upgrade was done, then perhaps he would have destroyed those tripods more decisively. But the tripods anyways will be forced to retreat, and these railgun predators will make short work of the storm column and anything that JonyCalcinha has to throw at him. Even disintegrator squads can get mopped up pretty easily by the destructive power of these predator tanks. They are quite a decent anti-infantry counter, but not to heavy infantry, just basic infantry units such as the disintegrator squads. They can readily deal with those things. So yeah, charging up the tripods. Damn, he's got a lot of tripods there. He's gonna be getting the force field generators. I would have expected him to get that by now, but again, with the Mammoth tanks now being deployed for Unleashed, he will be able to beat these Reaper tripods in a one-on-one engagement simply because of the fact that the shields has not been purchased by JonyCalcinha here, and all the Mammoth tanks will get destroyed. So notable errors by both sides in this game, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad one. The tripod husks will probably get captured here, but Unleashed with this single Mammoth tank may be able to destroy the husk before they get recaptured, but no, not quite doing that there. Veteran Mammoth tank will get destroyed. And just 1 second. So Sonic Emitter on the front line for Unleashed. He will be able to take out the portal there, which is a big blow for JonyCalcinha because he needed to get those disintegrators out to destroy the Mammoth tanks and take care of the Sonic Emitter. This Sonic Emitter is quite a big problem for JonyCalcinha. JonyCalcinha can only rely on tripods. A Hexapod would be quite devastating here because it's a great meat shield. He needs a meat shield, something that won't fall so easily to this small armored force and simple base defenses. JonyCalcinha could definitely send those tripods over there to defend. And yeah, I mean, it seems like Unleashed has secured this Tiberium field. He may not have any harvesters there, but that can quickly change. He may have them all moving over to that Tiberium field now, unless they all got destroyed somehow, which in that case I was not paying attention. He may have lost them to the tripods. So Unleashed harvesting operations have been halted, so this will give JonyCalcinha some time to react before Unleashed economy becomes too great and he's able to steamroll Johnny. So yeah, 3 Mammoth tanks on the field. Rarely seen actually, Mammoth tanks, but when you're playing against Reaper 17, Mammoth tanks are probably the best unit to train because of the Reaper tripods being so brutal and powerful, and of course their Shard Walkers being so devastating to aircraft and both infantry. So Mammoth tanks are probably your best bet in taking care of these Annihilator tripods, and of course you have to use your tier 4 in conjunction with the Mammoth tanks to cause as much devastation to these things as possible. And if you expose the rear armor to the Mammoth tanks, then they're just going to get annihilated, as you saw with that tripod there. And the Storm Riders coming in force. He has a total of 8 Storm Riders. He's going to get 3 Mammoth tanks here. He's going for the Harvesters though. Unleashed, preparing his defense with 1 A battery, but I don't think that'll be enough to stop these Storm Riders causing catastrophic damage. The Mammoth tanks do have mediocre anti-aircraft, which isn't actually bad. Taking out a couple Storm Riders there, I don't think that justified the cost of the Storm Riders there, losing a total of 6 of them for a couple Harvesters and a single Mammoth. Hard to say, but Unleashed, he's got 5 Harvesters here now. He's looking pretty with that economy, and Johnny has to act quickly. He's got tripods, and that's about it. Unleashed still remains to have possession over the Tiberium spikes. Johnny not bothering to do anything about that there, allowing Unleashed to secure those Tiberium spikes in the beginning. He must have had so much resources and income with these Tiberium spikes this game. It would be unbelievable. I'm very curious indeed to see the resource graph, just to show how much of an impact those Tiberium spikes have made during this game. I mean, it was noticeable from the difference from the start, where we saw Unleashed mass those Predator tanks. Of course, the spikes would have helped immensely there. A total of 30 credits a second. That would help to fund 1 production queue actually a minute, which is rather nice. And JonyCalcinha finally realizing that he has to take care of those Tiberium spikes. In Kane's Wrath, you really do not want your opponent to have control of the Tiberium spikes when it comes down to the late game, because these are usually what determine the winner. That slightest bit of difference in the end can mean the most, especially when you have a few amount of units and production structures remaining. And of course the Harvesters will be pretty much idle because there aren't that much Tiberium. But in this particular game, there is still a few patches of Tiberium. All the fields are regrowing back. These fields here will soon be back to full size, so JonyCalcinha probably is anticipating that now and just planning ahead and moving his MCV towards those fields just to establish his economy a bit more. And those Storm Riders forcing Unleashed to spend resources on pitbull counters to the Storm Riders, and JonyCalcinha making a very smart move here, going for Mechapede. So initially he wanted Unleashed to build pitbulls, so in advance JonyCalcinha could make Mechapedes and counter those pitbulls. So nice mind games there by JonyCalcinha. And yeah, these Mechapedes will be able to take care of this Harvester. JonyCalcinha should micro these Mechapedes really well. These Sonic Emitters can be devastating to Mechapedes as well as the Mammoth tanks. If they can get a clear shot on the head, then bam, those Mechapedes will get immediately destroyed. And oh man, almost losing that drone platform to the 4 Orcas. And Unleashed is going to try and destroy it. Does he have hard points? He has hard points. He may actually destroy this drone platform. And yes, he barely does able to destroy the drone platform. That is massive. And the Storm Riders here, they need to destroy these Orcas. That is the only way that JonyCalcinha can get a return on that MCV being destroyed. If he can destroy those Orcas. But oh no, the slingshots, I think they have a word to say about that here. They're going to destroy all these Storm Riders, but without the Tungsten Shells upgrade, I'm not sure if he'll be able to. It seems like the Storm Riders are going to get overwhelmed here, and the pitbulls there are going to reinforce and saving those Orcas from being destroyed by the Storm Riders. JonyCalcinha, I do not think has much hope of winning this game, but having said that, Unleashed, he's out of Tiberium. He is completely dry, and he has no tech. His only tech building is the command post, and that is it. Reaper tripods, he's got 3 of them, which is kind of balanced to Unleash force because he has 2 Mammoth tanks. Actually, one of them has promoted. He's got Orcas as well, so I don't think JonyCalcinha can make a push at all. Where are the Mechapedes? Did the Mechapedes get destroyed? I hope not. He really needs to keep those alive, but I can see the Orcas destroying them because they weren't equipped with any form of anti-aircraft. But oh no, the Storm Riders are coming in to kill these Orcas here, and all the Orcas will get destroyed by these Storm Riders, and all the Orcas will get destroyed. That one just barely being destroyed there. JonyCalcinha may not actually lose any Storm Riders. Okay, scratch that. He loses one Storm Rider. And now the only spike is belonging to Unleashed, which is to no surprise because Unleashed loves his Tiberium spikes, as most of the community knows. And yeah, sending these harvesters, not sure if this was deliberate, but the harvesters will come down here to collect the Tiberium if there is none on the Tiberium fields here. But JonyCalcinha seems like he's here a little bit too late. Unleashed UA must have sent an outpost to this field. And now, if JonyCalcinha realizes that Unleashed is here, he can immediately send all of his forces, which I think he's doing now. He's caught to the fact that there is a war factory there for Unleashed. But Unleashed, good that he has railguns, because that will definitely come in handy here. But against the 4 Reaper tripods, he will not be able to do much, as his other army is way out of position. It's in no position to defend his expansion. And at the moment, he could send these forces to Johnny's base. There is nothing here to defend except a single tripod. And as we see here, the refinery will get destroyed. So nice awareness by Johnny in cleaning up what Unleashed has. Unleashed seem to have a hugely better economy from what I'm observing here, but it's strange that he cannot out macro JonyCalcinha. I'm not sure what's up with that, unless he had so much resources but spent them all in the last minute. That is quite a possibility. But yeah, using the Reaper tripods to charge them up. What you want to do when you're charging up Devourers and Reaper tripods is never use the right click when you select them to charge the Tiberium. What you want to do is you want to always select the actual ability. So Control S for the Reaper tripods case would be to charge it up. So you select a patch of Tiberium with that ability, and you should be good to go. No bugging or glitching, because sometimes the Devourer tanks and the Reaper tripods fail to charge their weaponry. I've heard that it has something to do with Tiberium that's being harvested by a harvester. If you try and leech the Tiberium with these tripods while it's being harvested, then that bug can occur, or it has a high percentage of occurring here. Unleashed, relocating his army, he has to use these pit bulls and possibly flank the harvesters here. He could put these pit bulls in a different control group. They definitely do not belong in this army of mammoth tanks. They will get completely annihilated by those tripods, no pun intended. And yeah, 1 Orca for Unleashed here. He must have lost them to those Storm Riders. Of course he did. And Unleashed keeping on top of the economy, sending up yet again another expansion using the power of the outpost. No, he hasn't. He actually moved his MCB, seeing how it was just over here. So he'll be able to access this huge Tiberium field. JonyCalcinha, though, he's been harvesting quite good economy. He's getting so many tripods as well. Again, he needs to get the shield upgrade. If this is going to be a tech lab, then he immediately needs to catch on to his mistakes and build that and start researching those shield generators, which have been sorely missed by JonyCalcinha in this game. And I think they could have helped him have a better outcome in that many conflicts in this game, but still not going for that force field generators, which is a real pity here. He actually has not researched any upgrades from his technology assembler, which is really strange. And Unleashed, he's got quite a huge army, hasn't he? He's got tons of Predators, tons of Mammoth tanks and Riflemen scores just to support with anti-infantry. And just some scattered units for JonyCalcinha, seeing what he can do here. He's running dry out of Tiberium. The blue field has regrown to some extent, so JonyCalcinha can probably send some harvesters to this blue Tiberium field and take some of that. That would definitely boost him and allow him to train more units. He's going for a Hexapod though, did not notice this. So he's got his tech lab up, and he's intending to build a Hexapod to absorb frontline enemy fire, which isn't a really bad idea. He must know that Unleashed has no orcas on the field, so he's going to go for that Hexapod here. He can put shock troopers inside the Hexapod in case Unleashed decides to transition into aircraft. Then he would have some form of anti-aircraft to deal with Unleashed orcas. But Unleashed going to make a push with his army here. He's got some predators again. Wonder how he's going to use those. The Tiberian field in the middle slowly regrowing. And now it's just a waiting game. Waiting for both players to act. And those tripods wasting their beams on militant squads. And Orca here, I'm guessing it's just for scouting. Just to see what's up here. Going to be targeting the upgraded reactor, which isn't a bad idea. JonyCalcinha has to ensure that he doesn't lose those, because I'm sure that his whole base is being powered by just those single reactors. And if you haven't noticed, this game has gone into a complete base trade. I mean, as far as I know, JonyCalcinha was actually positioned on the left side and now is on the right side. So if there has to be something taken away from this game, it would be the fact that both sides have essentially switched positions since the game begun. And at least, where is his army? It's at the top field here, probably waiting for the right time to strike. JonyCalcinha, does he know about the army? That is the question. Let's check it out just to see. I'm very curious. It doesn't seem like he knows about it. He's got his stasis chamber up, which can only mean one thing. He is going to go for a stasis shield, and he's waiting for the ideal moment to use it as well. And that will be the game-changing support power here for JonyCalcinha. And JonyCalcinha, he immediately sees these Predator tanks. He should Q move and send those units back to defend. And using the stasis shield just on a handful of Predator tanks, if he can destroy them, that is definitely worth it here. But not moving the tripods into position, so that was quite a wasted support power there by JonyCalcinha. You really want to destroy the units inside of the bubble, and because or else it will just be a wasted support power here. And the drone ship, it has chosen the worst place to land, and these pitbulls luckily not upgraded with mortars, so you can probably do something with disintegrator squads. Again, the Predator tanks are fairly decent towards those disintegrator squads here. And Unleashed, he's already prepared a decently sized army of Predator tanks, and he will force JonyCalcinha to retreat. Actually, this Hexapod couldn't take the full brunt of the damage here. With the tripods behind, he may have a chance in stopping this, but the drone platform, that is his only hope of actually lifting up and hiding his drone ship. I mean, you can use this mountain here to make your drone ship invulnerable if you put it in the middle. Enemy units cannot target that drone ship, so if it came to a base race scenario, you can put your drone ship in the middle of the mountain and have your opponent not ever targeted. Admittedly, it's a bit of an exploit, but again, it can come in handy at times. And the Hexapod here actually doing a fairly good job. He can definitely target down these Predator tanks first. What he should be doing, send the tripods forward to EMP the Mammoth tank. If he can somehow get a good EMP on this Mammoth, then perhaps he can win this game. But going for the Corruptors first, which isn't a bad idea here by JonyCalcinha. Needs to repair these Corruptors and keep them alive at all costs, losing all of those Predator tanks and Mammoths. And we have now a veteran Hexapod as a result of that. Unleashed, though, has a backup plan, making a outpost at the top right corner of the map. So Unleashed not wanting to go down in this game, and JonyCalcinha barely hanging in there with his Reaper tripods. Unleashed going for the Orcas. He's got a total of 6 Orcas here, and he could feed this Hexapod tons of veterancy if JonyCalcinha starts to target the aircraft. Of course, the Hexapod can one-shot the Orcas, so that isn't a big deal for Johnny, but he is taking some damage and he cannot repair. He hasn't got a warp sphere either, so he cannot evoke the reconstruction drone support power to aid this Hexapod and regain some of its health. it was a devastating blow indeed, losing that drone ship. I reckon he could have saved that, and perhaps even won if he had put the drone ship in the middle of the mountain. That would have been just hilarious. We now have an elite hexapod for JonyCalcinha, and Unleashed, I reckon, whoops, can definitely... it's a really bad idea to engage the hexapod now with the orcas, because he's essentially going to be feeding it. So I would just ignore the hexapod, try and go for the mechapede. The mechapede, he could make a toxin mechapede. That would be one way of healing the hexapod, but too late for that anyways. But what he could have done is he could have equipped this mechapede with some toxin segments and healed that hexapod right back up to full strength. The toxin mechapedes are really fast and they can traverse the map really quickly, so if you needed some desperate repairs on this hexapod, he can easily train some of those mechapedes and get them on the hexapod. But JonyCalcinha, oh no, he's found the base of Unleashed. But Unleashed, are these orcas loaded with ammunition? Yes, they are, and they're going to go for the tripods, and both the tripods will go down. Actually, not sure about this. He's trying to rearm the orcas as quick as possible. Orca strike barely missing, going for the tripod house. He has to go for the airfield, but that crane is blocking the line of sight of the tripod in destroying this airfield, and Unleashed will barely have enough ammunition to destroy that single tripod there, saving him the game most likely. And the hexapod here, it is elite, an elite hexapod for JonyCalcinha. And he only has a handful of buildings remaining. And oh no, this is terrible. He's actually got a mechapede in his base, but Unleashed being able to reclaim a tripod. He's got two tripods here, and the orcas are going to suicide to destroy that mechapede. And JonyCalcinha, I won't be surprised if he is out of funds. He has no refinery, so he cannot repair his units. And yeah, 4 orcas mined for Unleashed, so he's looking really good. He can even build another airfield since he has that crane. So nice backup plan by Unleashed. Unleashed, obviously very diligent and doesn't want to die because he's just Unleashed. Also has the construction yard, so he has 2 queues really. He can drop 2 buildings at once. This wouldn't surprise me if it's a refinery. So Unleashed looking to always have a good economy. JonyCalcinha, his only hopes of winning this game is to rank this hexapod up to heroic. And training shard walkers isn't a bad idea. What I would do if I was JonyCalcinha is make a couple not tripods, but corruptors to heal it. And of course Unleashed has all the EMP power. He needs to win this game with those Reaper tripods here. But JonyCalcinha gonna try and make a push into the base. He needs to get a heroic hexapod, and he needs to get it now. He needs to snipe some of these aircraft up. Perhaps he can get lucky and destroy those aircraft with the hexapod, and as a result get a heroic hexapod from it. But Unleashed, he's got EMP grenadiers as well, probably going to be trained to kill this hexapod just in case matters get a little bit awkward here. But Unleashed selling off like crazy. He does not want to get this hexapod to heroic. That would just be absolutely awful news for him if that happened. The bad thing for Reaper is the fact that they can't teleport their hexapod, so it kind of makes it a lot weaker than say the Skrin Vanilla and Traveler 59 hexapod. But nonetheless, it can be a brutal, deadly force not to be reckoned with on the battlefield. Or is it to be reckoned with? Oh, I'm so tired at the moment. And yeah, this hexapod getting some nice experience from those rifleman scores, although he'll need to kill just more than a few rifleman scores to rank it up. And so long as Unleashed has these EMP grenadiers, the hexapod will not be able to accomplish much whatsoever here. And JonyCalcinha preparing to make his last battle on Unleashed. This will be the last stand of JonyCalcinha. Can he do anything? He's gonna try and retreat from these EMP grenadiers. He has no Project Mastermind to teleport this hexapod away to safety, and unfortunately the hexapod does get EMP'd by his own Reaper tripods there. So tough luck, I guess, being destroyed by your own units in the end. And that will mean the end of the hexapod and the end of JonyCalcinha. So JonyCalcinha going down in that game which lasted for so long. Both sides trying to win. There was very much a lot of errors in that game there, I have to say, but Still, nonetheless, it was an interesting watch, and it was okay. What can I say? The resources graph is actually quite surprising. I would have thought that Unleashed would have been slightly ahead, more ahead than that, but as you can see, the spikes being obviously the main culprit for giving Unleashed the advantage. He was able to accumulate so much money from those TIE boom spikes, you wouldn't believe it. And I think that obviously contributed to his defense there. And yeah, that's about everything here. We have 1.9 kill to death ratio for JonyCalcinha and 0.87 for Unleashed. Resources obviously in Unleashed favor there. So yeah, if you thought this video was remotely entertaining, then don't forget to like it. And this is Master Leaf. I'll see you next time. Peace out.